Somebody that we forgot about. The Fired Crew. Y'all know who the Fired Crew is? It's everybody that's a part of this podcast
I think this is
Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross. The unemployment office. Everybody that lost their job that once had an opportunity. We want to talk about this. All right. So let me preface this. All right. Let me preface this by saying that what they were talking about is black men. All right. They were saying that black men are ops to black women that are conservative or who holds conservatives like Jasmine Crockett accountable. And they're saying that Stephen A. Smith, as an example, is out of their depth. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We're going to go over the lemon drop next. All right.
This is a really good opportunity. We talked about the invasion of cities and colleges. I want to throw to one more example. Someone who teeters on the edge quite a bit, shows up talking out of both sides of his mouth. He had this to say recently about Jasmine Crockett. Sometimes you get attacked by your own.
How Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
He's got to deal with black woman issues.
Oh my God.
Writ large.
I know a simp when I see one. Hey, didn't this guy, what did he get fired for? Somebody in the chat let me know what he got fired for. I agree with you, Eric D. I think that Stephen A. Smith is very objective, and I didn't see anything that he said that was wrong. What did he say that was off? And the first thing that this guy says is, in order to get favor, as though Angela Rye is going to bust it down for a real one. The first thing that he says is that he has to deal with black woman issues. He probably had a mother that was abusive. What did this guy get fired for? What did he get? What was he in the news for? He was in yeah. Oh my God. Oh man. Y'all, listen, y'all got to get better representatives. Y'all got to get better representatives. Y'all genuinely do. You can't sit up there simping next to Angela Rye thinking that she gonna give you some by saying that he has black woman issues. Instead of dealing with the talking points, because they can never debate the talking points, you know what the first thing that they do? They start throwing ad hominem attacks as though they are in any position. Because was he a pillow biter? He had a meat off? Let me see something. I forgot all about this guy. His name is Bakari Sellers, right? Is it Bakari Sellers or is Andrew? No, that's not Bakari Sellers. His name is Andrew Gillum. Andrew Gillum. Right? That's his name, Andrew Gillum. I just want to listen. I want to know what I'm dealing with when I'm having these conversations. I don't want to be operating in a vacuum. I don't want to do none of that. I want to know what I'm dealing with when I'm dealing with it.
And whatever self-hate. The truth is that, Tamron, everyone believes the absolute worst about that day. At this stage, I don't have anything else to have to conceal. I literally got broken down to my most bare place. to the place where I wasn't even sure that I wanted to live, not because of what I had done, but because of everything that was being said about me. What was most hurtful was this belief that I was somehow living a lie in my marriage and in my family. That was the most hurtful to me because I believe we're all entitled to mistakes. And I believe we're entitled to those mistakes without having every other respectable and redeeming part of our lives invalidated. And I felt like the love that I have between my wife and I, my family, but most important, the authenticity that I tried to lead with was all in question at this point. And not even in question anymore. Something else had been assumed by that. And to be very honest with you, when you didn't ask the question, you put it out there, is whether or not I identify as gay. And the answer is, I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual.
Question. Simple question. Now, I'm not one to say who is, and like, I don't care if you bite pillows or anything like that. But here's my question. How can you be, and this is, because I don't know, and I know that it's a lot of people that has a lot more insight than me as we go back to Andrew here on this pod, okay? Here's my question. How can you be married to a woman and be bisexual? Is that possible? Because they're over here throwing ad hominem attacks, right? They saying that somehow, some way, because Stephen A. Smith is being objective and holding Jasmine Crockett accountable, that he has problems with black women. Tiffany Cross says that he has little D energy. She's going to say that a little later on because I've already seen this. Is it possible to be bisexual while still married to a woman? Just a general question. In my humble opinion, I don't believe in bisexuality. I just think that it's flat out gay. I think that either you are or you not. It's no middle. It's no gray area. It's none of that stuff. So I say, Molly said he's greedy. He wants them both. I just think that either you are or you're not. Either you are or you're not. What is it? What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't know. How can you be that? What does that mean? So you're married, but you still have a desire for men? That's crazy, fam. Anyways, he fell for the banana in the tailpipe trip. Literally. Oh, wow.
Exists within him.
That is self-hate.
I've never seen a clip of him where he actually praises a black.
Why is this like that?
Woman.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never.
Black woman issue he's got to deal with. But
For those who are listening, that was Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jasmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jasmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst the American people rival Barack Obama's in 2008. So just for context, he is on an island unto himself. Because people see her largely working on our behalf. And I also want to say, we recently had Jasmine Crockett on. It was on my solo pod. And Jasmine is on the show talking about having to go get fit for a bulletproof vest. So this is not the time for this.
Yeah.
And it is very dangerous for this. So I hear you even on the danger, even on campuses, but I wanted to bring this in because this is the kind of messaging they're hearing on their sports platforms, on talk radio, all the time. There is a growing divide between black men and black women.
Oh my God.
And I think that some of them are also leaning more
And
conservative
she's
in
a
their talking
congresswoman
points.
from Texas, and
Yes.
Texas has this open carry law. Governor Abbott is such a dangerous,
But he
problematic
sets
person.
up a false argument.
Yes.
How much attention is this taken away from you getting whatever you need for your district? The Republicans control the House of Representatives, the
Right.
Senate, and the White House. They not letting her get ish for her districts. And so the best she can do right now, not just for her district, but for the country, is to speak up and hold them to account at every single
Now,
level.
Which she does.
So her job is to speak up and hold them accountable at every single level. It's not to work with them. It's not to give a little so you can get a little. It's not to stand up for American rights. At every turn, she's the op. She says incendiary things. She preaches incendiary things. She advocates against or for the worst for Americans. And for whatever reason, we have this tribal thing, right? And I always look at it as racist. I'm going to just call it straight up what it is. It's racist. Because what they're basically saying is when you say, because she's saying that, standing up for us, they mean black people. If any white politician would say something like that and say, I'm standing up for white people only, or white people mainly, or I'm focused mainly on white people, they will be called a racist. We just got to call it for what it is. But I want to get to a specific part, so I'm going to let it roll for a minute.
Are there
I
black
hope-
men
I
that's
think that-
listening to Stephen A. Bakari?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
But they would
there are
take
people
that
who like,
and take
there are
it
people who
seriously.
like
Yes.
yeah,
White men.
Yeah, and they think
I
that
think
they
white
think
men.
they
You
think
guys,
that
it's
Jasmine
not
Crockett
just white
talks with her
men.
neck.
No, I'm not just
and
saying
is too loud and
exclusively.
snaps her fingers and all that, and they caricature her like he's doing.
Yeah.
And so my point though is that I didn't like the back and forth with Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace or whoever it was, right? But
Nancy Mace is the one that got violent. She was the one that said, let's
question.
take it
I mean,
outside.
I know them both very
Marjorie
well.
Taylor Greene.
I know them
Yeah.
both very well, and that just because I was in
They
the
attacked
legislature,
her.
so I look at that totally different. However, I will tell you that there is a through line between the Ice Cubes and the Jason Whitlocks and the Stephen A. Smiths, and these individuals and. Ice Cube may be slightly different than the other two,
Slightly,
but
yes.
Ever so slightly.
these individuals have been
I
around.
don't even like Ice Cube, bro. Anybody that ever has a conversation with a conservative or can align with a conservative view, you become the op of these type of people. You become the op.
Around since we have been on this freedom struggle. There have always been individuals
struggle.
out there which exhibit behaviors of charlatans who utilize, some people are in it for the change and some people are in it for the change, right? And I think that that's indicative. And they find the easiest path to the front of the line. And Stephen A. Smith is someone who doesn't have the depth to talk about House oversight or the appropriations process, right? And how you're able to bring resources back to your community or what Jasmine is doing. So he rather lampoon her or instead of having a constructive conversation. And so I've said what I've had to say about Stephen A. Smith in my book anywhere I can. I don't have a lot of use for him in the political dialogue. I think that there are individuals.
Stephen A. Smith probably has more pull from a political perspective, if we just being transparent, and it doesn't matter how he feels about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith probably has more pull from a political perspective. And this is just being objective. I'm not for or against Stephen A. I think that he's a really, really great political commentator. I think that his work ethic is probably 10 times more than all of these people combined. But from a political perspective, Stephen A. Smith will probably be the first to tell you that I don't know everything there is to know about politics, but here's what I know, and this is what I'm watching, and this is what I see, and this is why I think that things should be different. It doesn't really matter about the technical details about how he feels. The reality is this: Stephen A. Smith did not take the easiest path to the front of the line, and they use that same rhetoric on white people, and they have the same conversations about black people that are successful, that work 10 times harder than them, that they don't like. And if you have a difference of opinion than them, then all of a sudden you become lambasting, a coon, a person that is against the reparations and all of this other type of stuff. Or you can just have your own opinion that is subject to change depending on what the circumstances are. But let's continue.
who he matriculated with at Winston-Salem State University that are extremely disappointed about the man he's become.
It's so
I bet you that he's got people that he's matriculated with at Winston-Salem University that is disappointed about the man that he's becoming. I don't give a fuck about what nobody thought about that I went to school with. I went on Facebook the other day for the first time in about 3.5 years. I did because I wanted to find my password, and I went through the process. It took me about 20 minutes to find a password because I wanted to make sure that I'm getting rid of groups and deleting stuff because I have no use for Facebook. But I went on there the other day, and the same people is doing the same thing over and over. The only thing that I found out is that somebody else died. I'm 100% sure that there are people that I went to school with that was like, man, I don't like him because he a Democrat now. And I don't give a F. What kind of beta male energy is that you're concerned about? Man, I had a lady, bruh, honest to God on everything. Some lady sent me an email the other day and said, I knew Kevin Samuels at one time, and my brother was in a fraternity with him, and he would be disappointed in what you think. I said, oh, okay, well, I know his mama and his daughter. And she says that I'm doing a phenomenal job. And she just sent me a card the other day. In real life. And what the fuck what are you talking about? Me and Kev fundamentally behind the scenes had different views and different opinions on certain subjects. We agreed a lot on a lot of stuff and we disagreed a lot on a lot of stuff, but I don't live my life for another man. I'm my own man. What kind of beta male energy is that? I don't give a fuck about what no other man think. I'm my own person. Me and my own brothers don't even see eye to eye on certain things. I'll be on this side and they be on that side. And they be like, all right, y'all ready to get this money together? We still got to take care of mom.
disheartening to me. It's frustrating, one, because anytime we speak on this, it's like we, man haters and all this. But I feel such confidence in Black men. I've never bought into the idea that all these Black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are.
Y'all saying that? Hold on, let me rewind it. Y'all saying that Kevin Samuels wasn't political. Yes, he was. He just didn't talk about it on the internet because he didn't want it to mess up the money. He didn't want it to mess up the bag. He understood his audience, and so he was very careful to only speak about specific things. He did not get into politics on the internet. He understood his lane, and he played his position perfectly. And he understood that the money we was on the internet to get this money. On the internet to get this money. Let me tell you something, bro. Everybody have strong views about everything. It's just certain people choose wisely not to have certain conversations because it's not conducive for them.
Pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are, and the data shows that there have been inroads among Black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being Black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us. What am I getting wrong? Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute pure self-hating little dick energy nonsense.
What does this have to do with anything that Stephen A. Smith stands for, what his life is like, and what his political opinion and views are? All of a sudden, because again, when they can't win an argument, they start to throw attacks. All of a sudden, he's self-hating. All of a sudden, he's hating women. All of a sudden, he's mad at women. All of a sudden, he's mad that women are happy and that they're getting degrees. All of a sudden, he has little d energy. All of a sudden, he has little d energy because he holds politicians, which we are supposed to do. Guess what? They work for you. You pay them with your tax dollars. And when you have conversations about people that control what happens in your life and the legislation is being introduced, if you have a criticism for how they conduct themselves, how they present themselves publicly, so on and so forth, you have a right to do that. Where did all of this ad hominem attack stuff come from? Every time. That's why I don't have no conversation with women in most instances about things that they can get in their emotions about because they can't see logically. They result to ad hominem attacks. And then they change the conversation and it's like, what are we talking about? So wait a minute. You want me to prove my sexuality? You want me to prove that I got a big D? You want me to prove that I don't hate this woman or whatever? If you can't argue your point, and one of the rules of Fight Club, what's the rule of Fight Club? First rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Second rule of Fight Club is that you don't talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club is if you are going to tap into Fight Club, then you're going to have to substantiate your argument. You're going to have to substantiate your argument. You throwing ad hominem attacks does not substantiate the argument. It just means that you in your feelings. And these are Jasmine Crockett supporters. Make sure you hit a like. Ain't even nothing else to see right here. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications.